Mic check, mic check. Looks like everything looks good. All right, well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the NFS podcast. I hope you are having a great day. I hope you are doing something that's pushing you forward in your life in some way or another, and I hope that you're just overall getting after it. It's been a minute since the last episode of the podcast, and I think even on that one, I kind of said at this point, just kind of, I'm gonna take the mic off this. There we go. I think at that point, I had already said that expect these to come out sporadically. I love that these are special. I love that people are getting stuff out of this, and I also know and I've gotten a lot of feedback lately, or at least I've been observing a little bit more about how people feel about me not, people enjoy these things, and me not doing them is taking something away from you guys. And I could definitely jot out 30 minutes, an hour out of my day to get all this stuff set up now with the new production and everything that we're doing. But yeah, for those of you that's your first time listening, I stole this from Andy Frisella on the MF CEO Progress podcast and Real AF. But I don't want to ever sponsor this. I don't ever want to put a dollar amount on the podcast or stuff like that, or put any promotions. So if you want to support, share this with somebody, send this to anybody. That's free of charge. Literally, if you get something out of this, just pass the message along. So, quick update, I guess. I just completed the second round of 75 hard. My second time doing it, and it is a hell of an experience. It's emotional. Part of it is very emotional. And I think that's the biggest thing that I really got away from it. Now, I already made my Instagram post, did my before and after, my transformation and stuff like that. That's all good and great. The physical qualities that have happened and how I feel is cool. I'm gonna be completely transparent. I got absolutely plastered last night on my first day off of the off the program. So I'm a tad bit hungover, and I have my water here. And I'm outside enjoying the fresh air, and I'm all cozy in all of my first form sweats, my first form sweater, and then my one of one, or I guess one of three beanies that are not being sold to the public. These ones are only ours. So if you enjoy the beanie that I have on right now, for those of you that are watching this, I'm sorry, you're just not gonna have it. But there's just a lot that went on this challenge. There's a lot that went on this 75 hard, and it doesn't require me to really have a really upbeat tone or this loud bravado or whatever. It's different. Things went a little bit different than I had anticipated or expected, but I knew that when I went into this second rendition of 75 hard, that I wanted it to be a lot more authentic, a lot more heartfelt. Not to be said that the first one wasn't that, but when I did the first one, it was with my coworkers, it was with a group of people, and we're all kind of keeping each other accountable. And then as the workouts I would do outside, out of ignorance, I completed the challenge. I was like, oh, that's great. But now that I understand a little bit more, I wanted to make sure that I set some rules that were a lot more strict and a lot more, they required me to really go that extra mile for everything and to keep that intention. And I loved it. I love the program. I love the challenges that I've had to deal with. I love everything that came with it. But that's not to say that there weren't days or weeks where I was like, fuck, dude, I hate this. I don't want to go on a walk at 2:30 in the morning because I just got home from a party or a family event or whatever, and this is really my only chance to go. This is my one chance to really go and work out because it's been a busy day. I don't want to, it's raining outside or it's 100 and some odd degrees and I got to go for a run. Like, there's all these things that could be very easy to deter you from doing it, or on any other given day or any other given time that I just wouldn't have done it. So for this challenge to come and for me to just push through a lot of that stuff, it was fun. But I do want to get away from a lot of the conversation as far as the working out, because that is honestly the easy part. Especially for this one, where it's like the first time I did 75 hard, I literally tried to kill myself every single workout, every single day. And what that did is just let me beat and battered and just struggling for no good reason. I was more of just like, it was definitely a pride thing of just how much can I beat myself up in a short amount of time. So for this one, I took a different approach. I did a lot more recovery workouts on top of my endurance training and all that stuff. I did a lot of walks. You could say, oh, that counts or that doesn't count, but at the end of the day, I know for a fact that I wouldn't be going on those walks if I wasn't on the program. It's something that is out of my normal, and now it's something that I enjoy a lot. But this whole focus, it started because I wanted to challenge myself, and I saw who I can now call a good friend, Kyle. He was on 75 hards alongside Iron Cowboy, and I saw that and I was like, damn, like I did that, and I've been trying to hop back onto it. I've been trying to get back onto 75 hard. I've had a couple of attempts, and then they just fall through because one thing or another, which I'm going to talk about, because I've had the same rule that I tried to do 3 separate times for 75, and I broke it every single time. And this is the first one where I really went 75 days I completed it. And so when I saw them, I'm like, okay, they're finishing up. I want to do this. Like I want to hop back on 75. Like what's my excuse right now? Like I need the kick in the ass. I need the structure. There's so much happening with life in the business and work and family and friends and everything that I'm like, I just need to get out of my own fucking head and just have something that allows me to just live and breathe what I love to do, which is fitness and now mental health problems or mental health struggles. And that became kind of the focal point of this whole thing, is just my mental health. For those of you that know from previous podcasts that I've recorded, like I dealt with suicidal thoughts and tendencies when I was younger. And I think as I've grown up, I've kind of understand that I'm someone that just kind of gets bouts of depression. I have pretty low lows, and I do a damn good job of hiding it. At least I think I do. Now I say I do a damn good job because nobody ever brings it up, or is like, "Hey, are you feeling down or out of it or stuff like that?" Because all they do is smile outside of here. But then I forgot how that I went on this rabbit hole. But I started to look down the rabbit hole of a lot of people, a lot of famous people that have, what is the name? Is it Alex Trudeau? No, that's like like an official person, but like Robin Williams, for example. That dude that explored the world and like ate good food, like all these guys, like a lot of people that were very happy and they just seemed marvelous and they had all the good out of life, all committed suicide. They all did. And you look at these guys and you're like, how the hell are people like that, of that nature and that stature, who have, the world's best job, quote unquote. They have the world in their palms. They're the funny guys, or they're the life of the party, and they have all that stuff. And it's like, cool. Like the people that you would never expect, all of a sudden they just end it. And for whatever reason, it just became more and more of a just like a light that was being shined on, that it was like, suicide and mental health, depression, anxiety, all that stuff is a really big issue. And I know that I was just starting to go into, not a dark place, not in that sense. I don't have those tendencies. But I know that I was feeling just down and out, just tired, not physically. Oh, I'm sure physically, but, just mentally, just exhausted. And I genuinely I hated it. And so getting back on 75 hard, one of the goals that I had was like, okay, well, one of the things to combat depression, anxiety, and all that stuff is to take action, to keep on moving forward and to try and get the most out of yourself. Just try to, set a goal, go after it, and try to accomplish it, right? And just like keeping yourself moving, keeping yourself occupied. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's do this. Because I feel like shit right now. I feel like there's so much going on that increasingly becomes difficult to focus on what I want to do and what I want to get done. And so how do I take the time to make sure that I'm taking care of myself? I'm gonna put, there's gonna be a little loud right now. I'm putting the mic back on the stand. I can just, sick, modern technology. I just turned the mic off and back on. So I kind of was just like, okay, well, how do I fix this? How do I combat this as best as I can? And this is also for a lot of people out there too that are struggling with any type of mental health kind of thing, whether it is depression, anxiety. If you have suicidal tendencies, like reach out. There's phone numbers for that. There's emergency lines that you can call. If there's anything like that, like you're gonna feel like you're alone through it. It doesn't matter how many people are around. It doesn't matter how many people are in a room. None of that shit matters, because you're gonna feel alone in it. It makes you feel like that, and it gets in your head, and it tries to tear you apart from the inside out. I can remember a really distinct reason why, like how I knew that I was not in a good place, is because I was at a party with a lot of friends, and I'm not someone that goes out and drinks typically. I know I said that I just got hammered, but like this is like I don't go out too much. So when I go out with friends, like once every handful of months like that, I'm gonna go drink a little bit. And I recognized in that moment that it's like I was just going in and just drinking like shot after shot, thing after thing, just keep on going. Everybody's having a good time. We're laughing. There's karaoke. I'm having fun. I'm rapping into the mic to a fucking Migos song that I just happen to know like every verse, just bar for bar, word for word. But then I stand off to the side and I'm looking at my friends, and they're all smiling, having fun, having a great time. And then for whatever reason, it just felt like I was isolated. Like I'm alone. In a room full of people, I felt extremely lonely. And like that was a really big, just kind of like, what the fuck? Why? Like what's going on? Why do I feel this right now? Like everybody's having a good time. Everything is going great. Like you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be having fun. Why are you feeling these emotions right here, right now? Why is this a problem? Like, and in line with everything I said on the timeline, I forget. I think that was a little bit before I saw Kyle and everybody doing on 75 Hard. But that's when I realized I'm like, maybe I'm not all the way there how I think I am. Because it is very easy to just kind of hop on social media and just be like, oh, like life's great. I'm going to do this crazy thing and I'm doing these crazy activities. And like, look at me, I'm the fitness dude now, which is really fucking funny. I have to say that when I go anywhere now with my friends, especially because I said like, I don't go out too much. So when I do, everybody's like, holy shit, Daniel's here. Like, not to like, be arrogant or anything like that, because I don't take it as that, but it's like, oh, it's an anomaly because he don't do shit. But now since I'm a fitness professional, whenever I go out, people are like, how you doing? I haven't seen you. I ate McDonald's today. Like I had French fries and a McFlurry. Like, just don't be mad. And I'm like, I could not care less. I'm not like, you don't stress yourself out over it. But I think I lost my train of thought. Where was I at? No, but yeah, okay, being alone, nice. Yeah, it sucked. It continues to suck because it doesn't just go away. I realize is a thing. Like, it doesn't just go away. It's like trudging through mud. I'm not a doctor. Could be completely wrong about this. If there's somebody that's listening to this that's literally a medical professional that works in this field and you're like, hey, motherfucker, don't give this advice, let me know. I'll rip this shit down. But it's like I just felt like every single step took a lot more energy to get to the next. Every single step. And it just continues to keep on getting like harder and harder. And so all of a sudden it's like you climb out of the mud for a while and you feel like, holy shit, I feel light. I feel good. I feel like I can breathe. Like things are smooth and you're very optimistic and you're moving. And like you really get that groove. But then every once in a while you'll just step back into that mud and it'll try its hardest to stop you. It'll try its hardest to make it seem impossible or seem that it's going to last forever. And it doesn't. It's It's tough. It sucks. I know this is like literally my first time recording in a long time, and like I feel like I just brought the mood all the way down. So excuse me for being a little bit of a bummer, I guess. But I'm trying to figure. I have this new setup, so I don't necessarily know what time. Okay, so we've been recording for 7 minutes, I guess. Well, I'll figure this out. But yeah, it's insane to think. So back to 75 and all that good stuff. So going through this, I'm like, I just need to get my mind right. I need to get my mind clear and let's go. So I took the time on those walks, and the walks, a lot of it was just podcasts or listening to music or just letting myself think, letting myself feel how I'm feeling, kind of just stepping into my own head, and getting whatever emotions I have out. A lot of the workouts, like I felt great getting back in my workouts. I know that I have a tendency of yo-yoing in and out of workouts because I'm like, I have stuff to do and all this, and like I get busy, quote unquote, and I don't make it a priority. But it felt amazing to get back in the gym, to get back lifting weights again consistently and doing all that stuff. I felt great to be on runs and just to get myself out there and pushing. It felt great to do all these things. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of external. And like the work isn't done internally. Like the job hasn't been done internally. So like with that, it became clear that it's like, oh, okay, well, I have to work on who I am to myself. I have to study myself. And I had, I think his name is Corey. He reached out to me. I don't know this guy. After I posted my 75 hard progress photo, a dude reached out to me, sent me some videos, and basically said like, hey, dude, like I loved your transformation and stuff like that, but I loved what you had to say about, like, I just loved what you had to say about how things went, because I talk a little bit about the added challenges that I did and all the pressures and da-da-da-da on Instagram. You can read that post if you like. But he asked me like, what's the biggest takeaway that I got from 75 Hard? And I said that it's like, oh, that I need to study myself. I need to study myself more and more and more, because I spend so much time looking at other people, looking at the greats like the Andy Frisellas, the Nipsey Hussles, the people that I want to mimic in some sense a good life off of, or that I at least look up to and aspire to reach some of those goals. But I'm not looking in the mirror at like who I am. Even though I think I am, it doesn't mean that I'm doing it. And that's tough. That was a really tough like realization to get to, because, you know, I come on here and then I'm on Instagram and I'm doing all this stuff and I'm basically saying like, you know, go out, live your life, do whatever the fuck you want, be your own person, da-da-da-da-da. But in the background, even if I thought I wasn't doing it. I wasn't putting in that work. And then you know, some of y'all might be saying that it's like, oh, he's just being too hard on himself. He's being overly critical and stuff like that. But why would you not want to be overly critical with yourself? Why would you not want to, you know, if you're not you don't break yourself down and like diminish how you are as a person, but like observe yourself. Really start to like figure out like, do I like when I do this? Do I like how I feel as a person when I do this? If the answer is no, okay, how do we correct that? I learned a lot of stuff that I do and that I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like doing this. I don't like being here. I don't like surrounding myself with this environment or around these people or being in this type of situation. I don't like the way that I reacted on something. I don't like, a lot of it was just being like, hey, like, how you feel in this moment, dude? Are you okay? Are you good? Are you happy? Are you sad? Which, if you're happy or sad, neither of those are like good or bad things necessarily, but as long as you're kind of keeping in mind and feeling it and really just understanding that you feel this is the important part. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about the little bit of a personal thing. This is more so for all the guys, but females can deal with this too, because I know that I've talked to a handful of women that deal with this too. But the two added challenges I did, the first one was just no caffeine. So, you know, for those of you that don't know 75 Hard, I've gone this far into the podcast and not talked about it. It is work out twice a day. One of the workouts has to be outside, and both of them have to be a minimum of 45 minutes. Drink a gallon of water a day. It doesn't matter how much you weigh or anything. You drink a gallon of water every day. Read 10 pages of a nonfiction, entrepreneur, a type of book that's going to push you further in life. So not just Harry Potter or whatever. Take a progress photo every single day. What am I missing? Oh, and then follow like a diet and no cheat meals. And I'm like, cool, let's do that. My diet was literally just no fast food. Like basically constituted that as anything with a drive-through. I'm just not gonna have, because I just have a really big habit of just driving up to somewhere, grabbing something for a quick buck, and then going, and then doing that multiple times a day because I'm always gonna go. And so yeah, I did that. No, nothing. So yesterday I drove and I had 2 double cheeseburgers and a French fry. Drove in the drive-through, got it. Afterwards, immediately felt like shit, and I was like, all right, cool. I know why I don't like this anymore. I know why I don't enjoy this. But that wasn't really the most difficult part. It was, because a lot of the convenient stuff immediately got tapered out. But it's like, okay, well, let's figure out some alternatives. And my physical results show from finding those alternatives. The other thing was that I abstained from any type of sexual activity and stayed away from porn. This is kind of awkward to talk about, I guess, but I mean, there's no other way to do it besides to rip off the Band-Aid. And I talk to you guys face to face, some of y'all that listen to this podcast, so I'm just like, imagine you guys as I'm talking about this, which is really awkward and weird. Yeah. I've been like, that second one specifically is a really big struggle. Because I abused both of them just so that I could, feel something in a way, I guess. With the sex, it became very just meaningless and just kind of like, it is what it is. Like, this is just a thing. And I know for some people that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not saying anything about anybody else. Like, if you want to go out and just like do that, that's fine. Like, if that makes you happy, it's your life, do what you want. But for me, it caused a lot of damage in my life. Some of it that's probably never going to be repairable. And that I can only be very, very hopeful that it can be repairable. Or that I can figure something out. And the pornography was 100% like that. I will say that I was an addict, of sorts, because I can't tell you, I found porn when I was internet, when I was probably 10, sounds about right, around 10. I remember it just, finding it on the computer through, I saw it open on a computer at somebody's house. I'm not going to fucking out anybody because that's kind of rude and weird, but I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? And there's just naked people and I'm a 10-year-old and I don't know what the fuck's happening. But I had the conscience of being like, probably not. I literally remember being like, this just doesn't seem like something I should be doing now. So let's just forget about this. And so I literally just forgot. And so freshman year of high school, and then I was in the football team, and then somebody brought it up, and that's when it jump started everything. Of course, at that point my hormones are going. I'm developing as a a young man, I guess, and everything's starting to happen a little bit. And that's the age of 14. Oh, so I definitely found it a lot sooner. Probably around 7 was the first time I ever saw it. Oh yeah, that was probably fifth, sixth grade. Yeah. So I found it again, and then as you do with that type of material, and so it went, and then from that day forward, the longest that I had ever been between watching pornography was probably maybe a couple of weeks. I think at best a couple of weeks. And it fucked with me, dude. There's a really big, if you guys aren't familiar with it, there's a really big movement called the No Fap movement. And so that's all about basically stopping, pornography addiction and masturbation addiction and stuff like that, where it's you're simply going to This isn't a pun, but to stroke your ego in a sense, and to just, have a quick release of whatever. And for me, it's like I see how that was affecting my life now that I'm like, I can say that I'm 2.5 months clean from that, which is cool. It's really fucking cool to say that I'm now 76, 77 days off. But this is the longest that I've ever gone without it. And it's like, it's such a weird feeling, because you can say, oh, like, no, it's not a problem, it's not anything. But like when I would tell myself, it's like, I just don't want to do it anymore. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I had a long day. It's just like for people with cigarettes and a smoke break. It's like, oh, I just had a long day. Let me just go get a smoke. Let me just go do this. And nobody's going to know. And it's like, what happens is like, you start to look at all these things, and like you can only escalate with that type of material. You can only escalate more and more and more. And then you start to just look at the world differently, dude. Because it's like your brain is literally just like, as people, we're like, oh, we're supposed to reproduce, and we're supposed to, basically survive. And it's like, if every single, if damn near every single day your brain is thinking that you are reproducing, it's going to program the rest of your mind in ordinance of that. So it's like, oh, cool. Like, we're just getting, like, this girl that you see on the fucking screen is like, you just think, yeah, like, she's yours, da, 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 da. And your brain's like, cool. So we have all the, we're just procreating. We're doing all this stuff, da, da, da. When really you're just fucking, you're alone and sad and not happy with yourself. And like, yeah, like I said, it's like, I would try to stop. And that's why I failed 75 hard 3 other times, because I would try to stop and I just was like, nah, and I'd fall to it. And for whatever time, this time was the run where I was like, nah, like I'm going to stick to it. I'm not going to do it. And there were some difficult fucking days where I'm literally just sitting in my room, just like mentally, just like, don't even think about anything. Like, distract yourself, go do some push-ups, go work out, like fucking do something, just sit there. And I'm like my brain is telling me, like, it's like, oh, let's just go do something. And it's saying, like, that's why I made it a goal to also abstain from any sexual activities. Cause I'm like, if I just go out and then I just like hunt for, to get my own, just to get one off, it's like, what the fuck is the point? Like, I'm just replacing one bad habit with an even worse habit, because it's going to cause problems. Fuck, dude, I've never talked about it. I talked about this to one other person. And it feels good. Like, I feel like I genuinely view the world differently. And I feel bad because, like, the person that I was when that was a really big thing, and it's going to be a continuous fight. It's not just going to go away. But the person that I was when I was doing that is somebody that would literally just want to, like, do it as much as he could. Just go, and you're looking at the world, and you're just like, you go around, it's like you view women as objects. You view them as like a vessel to, do whatever you need to. And now I'm like, sick. I can literally just go around and just be like, hey, like, this is a person, and like appreciate you 100% for who you are. Like, and I have just have that meaning. And it sucks because it's like, fuck, dude, like, I lived a good chunk of my life struggling with this. And it's like, how do I explain that to, like, my mom? How do I go up to my dad? How do I tell them that I'm struggling with this? Because it's a fucking hard conversation to have. And so I'm glad I'm having it now. If you're somebody that struggles with that in any sense, reach out. Reach out. It's tough, dude. But I'm glad that I stuck to it, and then I'm going to stick to it. I don't plan on going back into that. The abstinence thing is probably going to take a break. But I'm going to make sure that that's, with intention and with purpose and with the right person, not with just like anything or anyone. Cause that's not the way to go. It genuinely changed the way that I think. And yeah, I don't know. It's a wild thing to think about. And I'm glad. And that was the first part of 75 hard. The first part was literally the hardest to deal with, because like those urges and stuff like that, just like any addiction, you literally get withdrawals. And this is where, like, it's all about the mental health aspect of it. Because for sometimes I would feel great. And I'm like, I feel fan-fucking-tastic, dude. Like, I'm on top of the world. I got it. I don't need to worry about anything. Like, we're cool. Like, we're chilling. And then, like, a week later, you're just depressed as shit. You just feel like you hit a wall and you're trudging through. Like, I remember literally just lying in bed, just going home and just sleeping and being, like, fucking KO'd. And I'm like, I just have no motivation to do anything. But because I was on this challenge, I'm like, I have to go work out. And I use those words like, I'm like, I have to go work out. I have to go do this thing. I need to get my gallon of water in. Like, I need to fucking read. It made me have to use all of that excess energy for something positive versus just cutting it out, which I think was the saving grace for it. And why it worked well. And I think it was just timing and where I'm at in life and all those things. And so I'm grateful for it. Like, this 75 hard has been a hell of a journey. And, you know, last time that I finished 75 hard, I finished and I went crazy. I'm like, all right, didn't want to work out, didn't work out, immediately just, you know, I guess I kind of did the same things where I just ate, you know, food that I didn't want and all this stuff. But I did not jump right back on the wagon. I kind of literally just fell off. I finished and I'm like, fuck this. All right, I'm done. But this time it changed. Like, the next day I still woke up at 4 a.m. I read my book. I was reading, which is funny because now that I'm off of it, I feel more engaged in my reading because it's not a task and it's not a chore. Because I'm very resistant when, you know, people tell me to do things. But it's like I felt like I could just go into it and I could just read because I want to read because I enjoy it, do all these things because I want to. Even today, I woke up and I just started reading, and damn near, instead of 10 pages, I fucking put a dent in 50. When, you know, during 75 hard, I pretty much only knocked out 10 every single time. And it's just good. I love it. But I see it translating over. I think one of the interesting things that's been also brought to my attention too is, for whatever reason, during the 75 hard, a lot of people have been like, oh, you're a good person, Daniel. They keep saying that, like, oh, you're a good guy, you're a good person, and all that stuff, which, you know, I hope that comes off right, and I hope that people feel that way, because I don't want to create enemies, and I don't want to go out and hurt anybody on purpose or stuff like that. I don't want to put anybody in a position to be hurt. And I think that's one of those things where it's like, I will only know the damage that I have done. Because you only spend time with yourself. Like, only you know your darkest secrets, right? This isn't going to be me revealing anything or like a fucking crime that I committed in fucking 2006. Why was that so specific? Hey, just don't look at anything that happened in 2006. I'm kidding. For the most part. But what's it called? I don't know. It feels weird because I don't want to have to be told that I'm a good person. I mean, it's cool. I guess it's validation for some of the things that I do. But it's like, I feel like I'm someone that overthinks way too much, to the point to where it's like, I just have a naturally guilty conscience about myself. I don't allow myself to really feel that. Like, when people are like, oh, you're a good person, instead of being like, oh, like, thank you, I immediately think of like all the negative things that I've done in my life from years ago, like stuff that I hold on to things. And you know, on the 27th of October is my Nino, my godfather's birthday. He passed away. He committed suicide back in 2011. And I have a recording. I recorded like a 20-30 minute conversation that I had with him. And by that I mean I was, you know, technically talking to myself. But I cried, dude. Like I cried. Not just like, oh, like a tear fell down. Like I was sobbing. I was sad because I miss him and I know one day I'll see him. But it was like, I worry because I wonder if some of the same struggles he had are some of the things that I'm doing right now, as far as like not being able to just let go and let be. Because I worry about that. Because I know about my history and stuff like that. And I'm like, one of the biggest things that I try to learn from the 75 hard is like, just let go. Just listen. Don't drag yourself through shit. Everybody has done something bad. Everybody has done something brutal. And there's some stuff that you can't change. You can't change the past. And just trying to be more self-aware of what I'm doing in the moment. Because I mean well, right? And I think everybody does. For the most part, I don't think anybody's like, oh, I'm just going to go here, fuck everything up as bad as I can. Let's just cause chaos. Like, unless I mean, clearly there are people out there that do that. But, like, for the most part, I think most people are just like, no, let's get on the same page here. Like, let's do good. But, sorry, this is just, like, this whole challenge allowed me to get a lot more into my emotions than I feel like I ever had. And the timing of it, some of it might be too little too late for certain things that I wanted to do or certain events that happened. And I'm going to have to live with that. But it's weird. Like, I've allowed myself to be vulnerable. I think you can even tell in the tone of this. Like, usually when I'm talking on the podcast, my buddy Jalen even said, he's like, you have a podcasting voice where it's like, oh, you're hosting. It's like, oh, I'm talking about stuff like this. And like my energy and my inflection is all different. But like, I just want to chill. I just want to relax and have a conversation and just do good, have fun and enjoy the present, because I know that I have trouble being present in a lot of situations. I have trouble being just right here, right now, all the time. And I think in part too, it's like I like with my phone and stuff like that, I've tried really hard to just limit it, but I find myself always on it and just distracted. And this whole 75 hard has been a challenge, because I've had to become more in tune with myself, the way that I think, and just really like one of the scariest things I think you can do is just be alone with your thoughts, because it's either going to reveal that you're okay or that you're not okay. And if you're okay, that's fucking phenomenal. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you're not okay, you're going to start to reveal all of the stuff that you have to work on. Like, bit by bit. Things that you don't like about yourself. Like, even if it's an insecurity thing where you're like, I don't like this, and you're like, well, why don't I like this? It's because, oh, it's somebody else's thoughts. Oh, because outside people are telling me what to do. Like, I know that I still struggle with identifying myself as the people that identifying myself with the same view that people have of me. So it's like how other people see me. I'm like, I want to be that person. I want to fit into that box or those parameters. But like, I shouldn't have to do that. I don't think anybody should have to fucking do that. You shouldn't have to put yourself in a box and do all that shit and just to appease, I guess, someone or something or, whatever. Like, be yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I genuinely feel like I wasn't myself for a very long time, and I'm just trying to be this person or be this guy. Like, in all reality, I'm just kind of like an socially awkward fucking dude. I'll be honest. Like, I get nervous. I have trouble talking to girls. I like I like doing dumb shit. Like, I like anime. I'm a weirdo, and that's all right. And the persona that I've developed too is just like this, this hard motherfucker, which also, that is part of me, that you can't really fake wanting to do a lot of the dumb shit that I did or that I continue to do. But it's like, I lost the roots of who I am because of, wanting to develop more of a character that more people enjoy. When it's like, fuck that. Why do I have to make other people enjoy why do I have to change myself so other people enjoy me? Why don't I just be myself and find the people that enjoy me as who I am? And that's constant things. That's everything. That right there, these 75 days of if they taught me anything, they taught me that one fucking thing. And that's worth all the hours of suffering, all the hours of misery. Is like, be 100% yourself all the time. There's no need to lie. There's no need to bullshit. There's no need to fucking, hide under the rug or do this shit. Like, just be yourself. It's okay. People want you to be you, dude. They don't want anybody else. Like, they want you to be who you are. And I'm learning that. And I think the interesting part is, like, a lot of people say when they're in a relationship, oh, I lost myself. And I understand that. It happens. It fucking happens more often than not. Where people are like, oh, I lost myself. I was in this relationship and I thought things were like good, but then I changed it, and I lost myself. And then they break up and they're like, wow, I was able to get back into what I really love, or with a job, or like whatever the fuck it is. Like, people lose themselves. And I feel like I'm finding myself. I haven't found myself quite yet. There's still a lot of stuff to work on. There's still a lot of stuff to dig through, and there's still a lot of stuff to get through. But I'm finding myself. And that is a beautiful thing. I think I'm going to leave it there. Yeah. I mean, this 75 hard, listen, if you want to hop on 75 hard, just literally fucking Google it. I should not have to hold your hand to do that. Yeah, I'm also a little bit of a dick. But yeah, just Google it. Simple as that. If you want somebody to help you out with it, don't do it. It's for you. It's for yourself. Figure it out. Don't hesitate. Go for it. Like, go 100% in. There's no reason why you should, like, it's about commitment, and it's about the you can't cheat yourself out of it. Like, you can cheat yourself out of it. Like, you literally can cheat yourself out of it, but why would you want to do that? What's the point? You're gonna lose yourself. So if you want to do it, get after it. Tag me at, on Instagram at neversettle_Daniel. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Hope y'all have a great day. I love you guys. Take care.